All right, continuing on, page 2 of the notes. So it says the terms between any two non-consecutive terms of an arithmetic sequence are called the arithmetic mean. So everything in between. It could be used to finding missing terms of the sequence. So find the arithmetic means in the sequence 21, blank, 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 45. So we're finding everything in the middle. So what we have to do is we have to figure out, first of all, what is that common difference? What is the D value that we are looking for? So according to this sequence here, even though we don't know the middle terms, we have 5 terms, which means n is 5. Our first term is 21, so we have that. The 5th term is 45, and we don't know D. So the only term that's missing in that formula from the other side of the paper is the D value. So we're going to sub in what we have. So A5 equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D. Sub all of your numbers in, simplify them, and basically move stuff. 21 is going to be subtracted, you're going to divide, and you end up with D being equal to 6. Now that value helps us because it's positive, which means to each number in the sequence, 21, we add 6, we get 27. 27 plus 6, you get 33. 33 plus 6, you get 39. So again, what I would suggest doing is make sure that when you write out your final answer, just write out what the sequence should be with all the missing numbers in the middle there. So again, here's your final answer. You're just writing it all out, and you have all that work to support and back up what you just said. All right, part 2 to this talks about a series. So series and sequence, they are combined. So a series is formed when the terms of a sequence are added together. So a sequence is just a list, but a series is when you add them all up, and that is what makes a series compared to a sequence. Again, a sequence is a list of numbers. A series are the numbers added together. So the sum of the first n terms, it's called the partial sum, and it's denoted S sub n. So for A sub n, that was the nth term. S sub n is now going to be the sum of the n terms. So there's 2 formulas that we potentially could use for arithmetic series. One for sequence, and now we have 2 for series. Depends on what you're given. So scenario 1 is if you're given the first term A1 and AN, so you're given the first term and the last term, then this is the formula you want to use. But the flip side to that is if you're given A1 and D, so you have the first term and the common difference, then there's an alternate formula that you want to use because you don't have the nth term. So it 100% depends on what information is given to you. Now that we are home, you have the ability to have these formulas in front of you that will aid you in answering the questions that you have to answer here. All right, so let's try one of these on the bottom. So it says, sometimes you may need to use the formula for the nth term to determine A1, AN, or N before you use the series formulas. So we're going to sort of be combining both the formulas that were on the front page of the notes and the formulas that are on this page. Okay, so it says find the sum of each arithmetic series. So we have 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus blah, 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 equal plus negative 10. So the difference now is you don't see commas, you see addition signs. So that is what makes it a series. So let's identify what we have. First term is 8. N, we don't know how many terms we have. If I go from 8 to 6 to 4, I'm taking 2 away each time, which means my common difference or D value is negative 2. And I know that my nth term is negative 10. That's the last term that I have. A1 is your first term. AN is your last term. So we don't know our n value. So in order to use either of these 2 formulas, you notice they both have n in it. So we have to find n. So we're going to use the formula on the flip side of your note sheet on the front page for the sequence formula, and we're going to calculate the n because we have everything else that we need. So again, to review, here's the formula for sequence. We're going to plug everything in that we have, and we're able to then, after we distribute this negative 2, move some stuff around, you find out that your n value is then equal to 10. So given that you now have n, we know that the first term is 8. N is now 10, D is negative 2, and we know that our nth term is negative 10. If you look at those 4 bits of information and decide, okay, which of these 2 formulas can I use, you actually have an option here. You can use either one because you have everything. So I always prefer myself just to use the first formula because I think it goes a little bit quicker, but if you use the second formula, you should end up with the same result. So we get Sn equals n times A1 plus An over 2. We're going to sub everything in, And when you solve, you should find out that the sum of all of these numbers, all however